Weird World Building is a series of videos wherein I needlessly overanalyze certain aspects of world building in various anime and manga, going into what implications they may hold for that specific setting or story. In this video, we'll be tackling one of my personal childhood favorites, Naruto. Let's begin. Number 1. Ninja Attire. I'm going to rehash an almost 20-year-old joke for this one, but Naruto is a ninja in a bright orange jumpsuit. Alright, that's way too short. Let's also tackle Boruto as a bonus. Why not? What in the absolute hell is with Sarada's outfit in the Boruto manga? An orange jumpsuit is one thing, but it's absolutely nothing when compared to, that. Listen, I don't have anything against sexualizing characters in principle. I think it's more often than not a detriment, but not necessarily so. In this case, however, let's even ignore the fact that she's like 12 or whatever, a fact which actually does kinda ring hollow when you realize they're basically child soldiers, but let's nonetheless focus exclusively on practicality of being a child soldier. What the hell is she supposed to do in those high heels and that unreasonably stupid miniskirt? Master Red Light District release? Is it a similar thing to Lee's weights, when she puts on some pants, her full range of motion and therefore her potential will finally be unleashed upon the ninja world? Is that the reason for the glasses too? Truly the next coming of Uchiha Madara. Tangentially on the topic of Madara, number 2. How in the world did Hashrama die? No, seriously, how? He died in battle? What freaking god among men managed to do that? Even if it was a group of elite ninja, I just don't see him losing. Can you imagine the Kinkaku Force defeating Madara? Because I sure goddamn can't. He'd wreck their everything. He'd probably drop a meteor or two on their village after the fact for good measure. I mean, the man soloed the 5 Kage without really even trying all that hard. Or even at all. He was berating them and talking shit all the way through. And bear in mind, this was before he got resurrected, and Hashrama implied that he was even more powerful then. Now consider the fact that both Madara and the QB fighting together still couldn't defeat Hashrama. Yeah. No. Another way you could take this is that disease got him. One of a similar kind that Kimimaro or Itachi had. But again, I just don't see it. His medical jutsu was said by Madara himself nonetheless to greatly exceed that of Tsunade's, which implies that he was very probably unparalleled in that regard both during his time and during the war. Also, do you know what Hashrama had? He had Hashrama cells. Hell, he even had Hashrama organs. A bunch of them actually. Hashrama lungs, Hashrama kidneys, a Hashrama heart, probably even a Hashrama brain. Can you imagine something screwing with Hashrama's brain? Apart from the tons and tons of erotic fanfiction and art that undoubtedly exist of him and Madara, I think not. Number 3. The substitution jutsu makes no sense. Okay, so this is how it's kinda supposed to work. You very quickly replace yourself for an object using the body flicker jutsu, usually with a log for some ungodly reason. I genuinely have no idea where the hell they keep them. And then use the body flicker jutsu to once again move somewhere outside your opponent's field of view. Now, in theory, the sensation of the enemy's attack striking something of at least somewhat comparable mass and, I wanna say shape, but it's a log, so I guess that's not really a factor, gives the attacker the impression that they've indeed hit their target, which would make them lower their guard for a split second and therefore make them vulnerable to a surprise attack. This makes absolutely no sense, because A, if you have the time to grab a log or summon it using a scroll, replace it with yourself and then flicker away, why would you not just flicker away and strike the attacker immediately while they're in the middle of the attack? Seems much more practical unless your goal is to flex on them. And B, that's simply not how the jutsu works. As you can see here, the animal path was fully restrained yet still managed to pull it off, which goes completely against how the jutsu is supposed to work. In actuality, throughout the series, the main reason for its existence has quite frankly been solely to create suspenseful and hype moments. Kishimoto probably liked it both as a tool for creating tension and as a concept, as it admittedly does look pretty cool, so he didn't much care about the logistics of the whole thing. Which, you know, fair enough. Number 4. There is absolutely no reason why you'd need the Sharingan to effectively use Chidori, or Raikiri, same difference. It was stated that the speed at which the Chidori is performed makes the user vulnerable to potential counterattacks from their opponent, as they are unable to clearly perceive their movements and react in time. This, again, makes no sense. The Chidori consists of gathering a huge amount of lightning-infused chakra in the palm of one's hand. That's it. The Chidori, by itself, offers no inherent boost to one's speed, and also does not require a running start. It was sort of implied early on that it did, and later this was sort of confirmed by Minato, but we could see on a multitude of occasions that this was simply not the case. Additionally, why would you even need a running start? Besides it looking cool, there's no established reason for it. Furthermore, the point about the user moving too fast and being unable to react is very weird. If that were true, the Rasengan would suffer from the exact same drawback. I get that this for the most part would not apply to neither Minato nor Naruto, as Minato can use the Flying Thunder God to close the distance, while Naruto can just spam infinite shadow clones until he finally gets a hit in, but it would mean that the jutsu would basically be unusable for both Jiraiya and Konohamaru. Somebody should really tell him that. From what I've been hearing, his track record in Boruto hasn't been too hot. Number 5. This one will consist of 2 main points. First, who took care of Naruto while he was growing up? I don't believe this was ever explored or even really mentioned. I mean, someone obviously had to take care of him as a baby, and it is quite easy to explain that away by saying that Sarutobi had someone do it. But what about after that, but before his enrollment in the academy? Despite his almost chronic tendency to have flashbacks, Naruto's never spent a single one remembering that person or those people. Even if they were just cold and distant ninja social workers of some kind, it still would have been interesting to see, because as it currently stands, Naruto raised himself. It's no virgin birth, but still a rather impressive miracle for the one and only Ninja Jesus. As for the second point, why didn't Kakashi, Jiraiya or Sarutobi look after him? All 3 of them knew about his circumstances and had a personal connection to him or his parents. Kakashi protected Kushina throughout her pregnancy, with of course Minato being his sensei. Jiraiya was Minato's teacher and Naruto's godfather, while Sarutobi was succeeded by Minato, who also gave his life in order to save the village, while on the other hand, Kushina was effectively the storage for the village's nuclear arsenal. I kind of get that Kakashi had too much emotional baggage and opted to distance himself. Jiraiya was doing his own thing, gathering info on the various potential threats that later surfaced, finding enough time to squeeze in his fair share of hookers and blow, I'm sure, while Sarutobi was busy being Hokage. I guess. Why didn't he adopt Naruto? Or if he for whatever reason couldn't, why didn't he have someone else do it? Someone he trusted? I mean, pretty much all of the adults knew that Naruto had a fox inside him. It would only be a matter of finding a responsible and trustworthy individual for the job. Was the Hidden Leaf so deprived of decent parental figures that Naruto had to be raised by... Well, we don't know who, that's the point. Hell, imagine if Sarutobi entrusted Kai with taking care of him. Now that would have been something. Seriously though, in retrospect it really doesn't make much sense. Considering the circumstances of his childhood, it would have been a real possibility that Naruto could have turned on the village and become a rogue ninja, similar to Sasuke, either by deciding he's had enough of the emotional and physical abuse and acted out of sheer spite, or by being manipulated by someone who noticed how he was being mistreated. I know things didn't turn out that way, considering Naruto's disposition and willpower, but there's no way Sarutobi could have known that for sure. And even if he did, I still think it cruel, or at the very least a real dick move, that he did not help out Naruto more. And that's another one done. I hope most of these were something you hadn't seen discussed before, though while making the video I did notice that the inexplicability of Hashrama's death has prompted more than a few Google searches. Speaking of which, I'm also going to use this section to quickly debunk some headcanon explanations regarding a couple of the main points, and give my own alternative to one of them. A friend told me about there being a headcanon reasoning as to how Hashrama died, which has to do with the fact that cells have at some point already been established by Tsunade to have a replication limit, and that Hashrama probably overused his healing powers, which while not being the same are probably similar to Tsunade's, and died as a result. I don't believe this particular headcanon works, because that would mean that his cells would have been essentially inert, having lost their property for replication and therefore healing. Now, I don't think I have to explain why that very obviously is not the case, considering how prominently, to put it mildly, they were featured throughout the show. Moving on, the substitution jutsu is not a space-time jutsu like Sasuke's Rinnegan, for example. An explanation as to how it works has already been provided by Sasuke himself, actually. As far as the Chidori and Sharingan are concerned, if Kishi really wanted to make them complement each other for obvious narrative reasons, I honestly think he should have simply made it so that the Chidori effectively blinds the user, or at least impedes their vision enough so that they can't accurately follow their opponent's movements. This is where the Sharingan's increased visual prowess and powers would come in to compensate. Also, I'll definitely be making a part 2 at some point. There's quite a few more I came up with, but for the sake of brevity, I decided to stick to these 5. As always, feedback is always appreciated. If there's anything you'd like to add, think I've missed, or just want to give me a quick dopamine boost, please feel free to do so. I'm generally pretty active in the comment section. And that's about it from me. I'll see you in the next one.